Yo, 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 yo. And we are live. Bear with me 2 seconds whilst I get the stream going on. For anyone watching on Kick, I don't think anyone does, but gotta test this out. Right. So, this is an article that came out around last week saying that Boris Johnson, the ex-Prime Minister of the UK, bashed Bitcoin, saying that BTC is a scam. But when actually reading the article and pressing in why he thinks Bitcoin is a particular scam, he calls it a Ponzi scheme because his mate got involved in something and he had to keep giving £500 and then never got his money back, which defeats the object because he didn't actually directly invest in Bitcoin. He got scammed by someone promoting Bitcoin. So it's a completely different thing. It's just like the actual thing he got involved with was you give $500 and they give you $500 back, or they double your money or something stupid. So his mate's obviously stupid as fuck to get involved in something like that. That's not what today's video is about, though. You'll be thankful to know. What I'm going to build on is a simple formula of what I've explained I'm doing, and it may help a lot of you that have some fears about what to do in this market, and what to do in this market, which, let's be honest, is going to go sideways this year. We checked the prices for Bitcoin and Ethereum today, and they're actually quite up. If you look at 7 days, 6% BTC, 13% Ethereum up, 10% XRP. It's doing pretty good. But in my opinion, we're still in for an accumulation period. And this is where this comes in with the risk taking. I'll make this bigger. Because a lot of issues that people will have in crypto is this here. And this is directly this is directly in conjunction with what I talk about. In 2026, you've got to choose your problem with your crypto. And if you're watching this video, I assume you like crypto. So either one, you buy and hold your crypto and wait for it to pump at some point this year. Or two, try the liquidity pools. And the problem you have with that is waiting for high yield. And I'm going to argue why you should go for the latter. Or the latter, should I say. Sorry, my Bolton accent getting the better of me. Most people who are doing option one, which is buy and hold your crypto, this one here, will unrealistically forever, in my opinion, be waiting for a number that they have in their head, which may never, ever arrive. And especially if you've got a shit coin, and I talk about them every single stream, if you've got a shit coin down here that you've held for a long time, or maybe not even a long time, that looks like this. And again, this is one I've just randomly selected, and hey ho, the chart looks the same. If you've held this from up here at near $4 and now it's 9 cents, what price are you realistically ever going to take profits or sell it? Let's be honest. What price? Because if you've bought it around here, above $1, you want it to go up a ridiculous amount before it's ever going to get to the point of you selling it. So really, in effect, if you look at option one, are you ever going to make any money if you're buying and holding that shit coin and waiting for it to pump? Are you ever going to make any money? I would say to you. Because in my opinion, I don't think you are going to make any money waiting for this magical altcoin to pump. Now, of course, we've spoke about them before. If you are in a high cap coin, and we know what they are, at the billions of market cap, they've had an all-time high last year. Up here, maybe you've got some conviction in what you say. But the majority of people don't have the high cap coins. They have the shit coins, unfortunately. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So the option two is what I talk about with the liquidity pools. And the biggest complaint people will say is, well, the yield's not high enough. But my argument back to that would be, well, what is the ROI from number one? And I'll tell you, the exact ROI for 2026 for you will be that. That is the harsh reality. I'll say it again. The harsh reality for you this year in the whole of 2026 with option one is zero. You ain't getting a penny back. You're just going to sit there, watch the charts, watch your coin do nothing for the whole of the year, and hope. And especially the worse the coin is, the worse it's done last year, then the more money you're going to want to get back, the harder it's going to be to reach its all-time high previously or at the level that you bought it to recoup those losses. That's just the harsh reality. Doing number one, you're going to get back zero return in 2026. With two, you're going to earn this from day one, week one. Well, in the first hour, you're going to earn yield. And obviously that's variable depending on what your portfolio is, what your coins are, what your pools are, etc. There's many different variables. At the moment on mine, it's around 44%. Which if you showed someone in the normal world, they'd be like, oh my God, what the hell? That's a scam. And if we're looking at what that is a month, at the moment, it's around 3.7% a month. And this has been as high as 120%, etc., etc. So to go back to higher yield in crypto can be tomorrow. That's the way it works. Tomorrow, this yield here of 44% could be 60, could be 70, could be 80. A couple of weeks ago, if you look at my other streams, it was like 120, even higher. And that's the variability, and that is the excitement that you do get from being in this market, and the fact that you can get an ROI instantly with this method. But I'm going to show you that there is method to the madness of an actual strategy, an actual plan to attain more crypto that you have, and you can tailor this specific method to what crypto you have, what your risk tolerance is, etc., etc. So this is it. And this is something I'm going to build upon as we go through the streams and we go through everything to help you more in depth. This on screen now is showing you my current strategy at the moment. Whether it's for the whole of 2026, we'll see. Maybe it will slightly be adjusted, but this is it. And for me, this strategy enables me to stack BTC, earn yield with pools, and do it in conjunction with dollar cost averaging. And it's basically an avalanche effect where I can start small, and by the end of the year, everything will build and build and build and build and build and build and build, as opposed to this, just doing nothing. So how does this work? What does this all mean? So what I'm doing is I'm doing a monthly dollar cost average into Bitcoin. The simplest, most effective way of gaining more Bitcoin over the long term, right? And what all that basically is buying Bitcoin every month. Now, how much I buy may be different to what you buy, different to what your friend buys, etc. A dollar cost average for someone could be $50 a month. To someone else, it could be $5,000 a month. That's the difference. So I'm starting off, well, not starting off, but I am doing that every single month. Then what I'm starting to do is supplying my Bitcoin to Aave. This is Aave. And you can see the start of supplying here. And on a side note, this is the DeFi portfolio I've got. I've got my hodl bag in the cold storage. That is not what we're talking about. This is not what I'm touching this year. This is what I'm focusing on. And this is what I want to show you, how I can grow this, how I can make the avalanche effect and the compound effect really happen as we get through 2026. So we've got $1,500 worth of Bitcoin supplied at a rate of 0.03% on Aave. So I supplied it to Aave. I get 0.03% back. Not much, but we'll talk about that in a second. On a side note again, Aave, if you wanted to know what that was, it is a decentralized platform. Nobody owns it. Obviously, there's developers, etc. But if the website was to ever go down, everything that is on Aave is within smart contracts and will be able to be accessed by some way or another to unlock your crypto. Okay. So if we were to go on DeFi Llama, which is the number one kind of information source for DeFi, shall we say, there is $26 billion worth of assets locked in Aave. This isn't a small thing, right? $26 billion that this makes. It's making $50 million a month in fees. This site, it is insane. And this is also, again, on another side note, a coin that I have in the hodl bag. But that, again, that's another story. So back to this. So dollar cost average my Bitcoin, supplied it to Aave. And then what I've done is taken a loan back in USDC. So you go on here, see a loan of $500 there, which I've tested and sorted with an APY of basically nothing. And then what you do with that loan, which is here, supply that then into your liquidity pools. So for me, it's obviously VFAT, right? And obviously I had some in the pool already and added to it. Then this is in the specific liquidity pools that I've got here. And then what that will do is that will generate income. And the income that the liquidity pools generate, which is here, and I've put earn yield between 3 to 12% a month. That's what I've got so far. It may have even been 20 at one point, to be honest with you. But I put 3 to 12%. In fact, just change that. That's the variance I've seen so far. Bear in mind, I've been doing this about 3 to 4 months specifically on this platform, which is VFAT, right? So you earn the yield on the platform. It can be Orca, can be Turbos, can be another one in here. And then with the yield that you've earned from that, what I'm doing is then swapping it to Bitcoin. So you can, any earnings that I have in the pool is then being instantly swapped to BTC. Then, once there's a sizable amount in the wallet, it then goes back into here. And then once it's a decent amount, we get more out. And it's not separate loans by anything. It's not like, and I just want to say, you know, it's not like you go to bank and or I've got one loan, then I've got another loan, then I've got another loan. It's like all you're doing is increasing the amount of Bitcoin in the platform and then taking the loan amount up to a health factor that, we're at 32% here, right? So all we do is increase the health factor so it's not too stupid. We get it well above 2. And then we slowly keep getting more out, and then we repeat the process. So the idea is you're feeding your Bitcoin into Aave. So you're feeding it in with the monthly DCA. You're feeding it in via the yield that you earn. So feeding it in via here, feeding it in via here. This is then being supplied to here, and then everything increases. Yeah, everything increases. So the amount of Bitcoin you have increases. So your accumulation of Bitcoin increases. So you earn more Bitcoin consistently. You have the ability to yield by week, by month, by year, and you have the ability to speed up, number one. So in essence, you're having an avalanche effect on the amount of Bitcoin that you can accumulate. And you're doing that by utilizing the liquidity pools to do that. Now, of course, I've mentioned before that people want to use their existing crypto to do it. Yes, you can do that. But this is a particular method that I just wanted to go through what I am doing. So this is what I'm doing to accumulate more BTC. And it will be an avalanche effect because it starts off smaller, then goes bigger and bigger and bigger because your Bitcoin size increases, the size of your pools increase, which means the size of your yield increases, which means the size of your Bitcoin earned from yield increases, which combined with the dollar cost average into Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin increases, everything just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger on this massive flywheel, like an avalanche that starts off small here, but then just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Now for what people say, but it's a loan, etc. How this works is if you think about a house, right? You have a house, and when you buy a house, you buy it for a certain price. So let's just say, I don't know, you buy it for 250K. Over a period of time, and historically, over the years, you say 10 years, 99 times out of 100, depending wherever you live, hopefully it's not somewhere bad, but 99 times out of 100, the price of that will go up over 10 years. So your asset, which is your house, will go up in price, over the 10-year period, depending on where you live. London, it could be insane, but let's just say this could be 350K in 10 years. So your asset has increased in value. Yeah. If you look at the price of Bitcoin, and a good one to look at is this website, CoinMarketCap, historical snapshots. We go way back to 10 years ago. So 2016, what day is it today? Let's go to the 13th of March. $400 Bitcoin was 10 years ago. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be the same price jump. No way. However, if you look at the historical price action, even in the last 5 years, it's gone up over a long period of time. So over 10 years, you'd assume the same time with BTC. And if you do not believe that BTC will go up in 10 years, then you may as well leave crypto because it's the main cryptocurrency. It's the one that leads the market. It's the one that leads the way. That is what, crypto is all about, in my opinion. Not XRP to 10K. So you go back to this and you say, oh, well, I've got all this locked up here, but this is an asset that will appreciate in price. Yeah. This will just keep appreciating. You've borrowed the USDC, not the Bitcoin. So you've not borrowed 0 point something Bitcoin. So your Bitcoin will just keep going up and up and up. And it is up to you what you do with this. So at a rate of 3% a year for this USDC loan, if you've got 10K, that's $300 extra on top of that. And what you'll find a lot of rich billionaires do is they have assets, they take loans against the assets. The loans never really get paid off. They just continue to borrow and borrow and borrow. Now, obviously, that can be reckless if you don't know what you're doing or you're ridiculous with it. So it is, your own prerogative how you manage this particular strategy. And I'm going to go into more depth how I'm going to do this. But the basis of the strategy is the fact that I'm dollar cost averaging into an asset that is appreciating in value. I'm using that, locking it up. I'm then getting some USDC, locking up in liquidity pools, generating yield to buy more Bitcoin, to use with the dollar cost average that I'm doing in Bitcoin, to stack more BTC, to be able to use more in liquidity pools, and it keeps going up and up and up. Where is the end game? So the end game could be 1 BTC in this, and then you get to the point where you're just yielding to pay off the loan. There's a number of ways that you can play it, to be honest with you. But always know that the LTV, so the loan to value ratio, will obviously change over time. So it's just like a property, which I mentioned here. Now, when you take out a loan on a property, for example, let's say this house is 250K. Let's say 50K deposit. So there's a 200K mortgage, right? And let's ignore interest payments, blah, blah, blah. Even if there's hardly anything paid off this mortgage, right? By the time we get 10 years further here, the loan to value ratio of this 350K asset against this 200K loan has considerably changed. Yeah. So if we go back to this and we talk about, oh, well, you're taking loans, blah, blah. Well, over a 10-year period, the LTV is going to change massively on this. You're going to have fluctuations along the way, obviously, but the LTV will completely change. Health factor completely change, because this asset here, it says 1,500 now. If I left this 10 years, what do you think 0.02 Bitcoin will be worth in 10 years? 1,500. So will it be worth double, 3K, 5K, 6K? So this will seem not as much. Do you see what I mean? So people worry about the loans, but you've got to think the way you are taking a loan is similar to a property, but better than a property in a way, because the way it's different than a property is you're not getting screwed on the mortgage payments. You get a mortgage, you hardly pay anything off in the first thing, and you have to pay back straight away monthly. You ain't doing this with the smart contracts on Aave. 2, you've got the flexibility of it being smart contracts, so you can pay off the loan anytime. You can pay off a bit of the loan anytime. You can increase the loan anytime. Yeah. And the ROI you will get from your asset will be better than property. If you look at a property, right, and you look at what people usually pitch per annum to get back in an ROI in monthly returns, it's usually 5% a year. 10% is ridiculous, but you usually say 5% a year that you'll get back an ROI on your asset, your house. But obviously, you've got to have hundreds of thousands to buy a decent one. Then you've got to have good tenants. Then you've got the boiler that could go wrong. You've got the management fees, solicitors, lawyers, neighbors, all this stuff that can go wrong, right? Just to get 5% a year on the rent. But the same principle applies with locking up the BTC and getting a loan. you're getting the yield back at the rates that I mentioned here. Variable 3 to 20% a month, depending on how, the fees are, how much volume there is, etc. It can be, getting more than that. That's what crypto's like. And that over a year, like I mentioned now, people are saying, oh yeah, the yields are so low. 43%. You ain't getting that in real estate. And the fact that your assets are liquid, if you want to sell this asset, this house, you need a buyer. BTC, you've got buyers everywhere. How many exchanges are there? You could sell your BTC like that, literally with a click of the finger. You draw your BTC into your wallet, send it to an exchange, sell it. Easy. Or if you want to spend it, send it to like a crypto card. Revolut in the UK is now actually, I wanted to mention this as well, is now a UK bank. So it is now officially the only UK, but oh god, one second, I'm trying to get an article here, but it's the shitty Guardian. Here, Revolut is the only UK full official bank that has direct access to crypto. So you can get a card, a virtual card, to spend your crypto directly with Revolut if you wanted to. I mean, there's many other options, I'm just saying, So going back to the flywheel here, for me, this is the future. For me, this is so much easier, so much more flexible, and so much more convenient and liquid than having property and having to piss about with the tenants, the neighbours, the management fees, the consultants, the blah, 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 blah. The old school way, in my opinion. Whereas you do it this way, and this is the modern way. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands to do it. You start off small. You can, like I said with mine, we've got 1.5K there, and then we've got 4K here. We're starting small, going to build this up and show you the avalanche effect each stream, each video, as we're going through the year. And for me, this is where it goes back to the very first thing that I said here, is this here. If you don't take any risk, you'll fail. And so many people will do this in 2026 because they will do this, which is option one. Buy and hold your crypto, wait for it to pump. And too many people did that in 2025, 2024, 2023, whatever. And they're going to continue doing it because they watch too many videos of guys on YouTube with stupid price predictions saying that this is going to go to the moon, this is going to do 100x or whatever. And they only do that for views. My views are a lot lower than they used to be. And it's the fact that I don't do the clickbait, 100x videos, or the fact that I don't do price predictions or buy these coins in Feb, buy these coins in March, because they're boring and they don't benefit anyone. It's all about the strategy, which, in my opinion, is the one here. And if you want to find out more about how to kind of try that, there is a free DeFi playbook that you can access. I am going to be writing another one as well over the next couple of weeks, I think. So watch out for that. And this this new one is just going to build upon the info in there, but there's some valuable info on how to get started with the liquidity pools in here. Yeah. All you need to do is put your email in, free access, and then you can try it for yourself. And of course, if you want to join the group, which is our community, the 10K fast track, you can do. Just book a call here, and we'll show you what's in it, and we will help you one-to-one, which is what it's for, really, more in-depth support for you guys that want to learn DeFi and want to actually do something in 2026, be around people who are doing something in 2026 in this market. Because like many people have said before in the group, this just makes you excited about crypto again, to be honest with you. It makes you more excited about crypto and the fact that you're not just waiting for number to go up, which is what the majority of people are doing, waiting for number to go up, unfortunately. That's it for me today anyway. I'm pretty tired, but I'll see you guys very soon. I do another live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT. So yeah, I've also got a free Telegram as well if you want to jump in that, but I shall see you guys very soon. Peace.